A warm welcome to TV Africa News, and thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. City businessman Andrew Kananura, also known as Dash, advises people to invest in different business ventures. Government names 7 most degraded wetlands. Parliament demands travel advisory over South Sudan killings. Parliament approves Dr. Philip Mpango as Tanzania's new vice president. And in sports, KIU Titans line up pre-season friendlies with City Oilers, NAM Blazers ahead of National Basketball League. Now the news in detail. City businessman and rally driver Andrew Kananura, commonly known as Dash, has advised people in business sector to invest in different ventures to avoid setbacks, including COVID-19 pandemic situations. Our reporter Nalugo has more.
Many people in Uganda and the rest of the world have been affected by COVID-19, especially on the business side. Uganda in particular, since the government announced the lockdown on 20th March last year, many people have been consistently crying over the effects, both social and economic. Amongst the sectors that were affected include transport, trade, entertainment, industry and others. City businessman and rally driver Andrew Kananura, commonly known as Dash, who also owns Panamera Bar, is amongst the people who have experienced the effects of the lockdown.
It has affected a lot of people globally, not only ourselves. But for instance, I have one of the biggest bars, Panamera, that has been closed for a year and a couple of months. And to be very truthful about it, we've lost so much revenue. Some people have made a lot of money in COVID. It's a give and take, carrot and stick. Some people have made money, some have lost money. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, has won most money through COVID because it's delivering. We and the service industry, we've lost so much money. So when we talk about factors that have affected us, COVID has been one of the worst. And I can only hope that government does something for other people to restart, as a lot of people are going to struggle to restart. But as an entrepreneur, I had my other eggs in other baskets, and that's how I've managed to survive. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket and having tunnel vision. Invest in different. You'd rather have 1% of KFC than having 100% of yourself. Why? 1% of something is better than 100% of nothing. What's the point of having your briefcase company? You'd rather have 1% of McDonald's. So I have small percentage shares in companies around the world. And that's how I've managed to survive COVID. Truthfully, I didn't see it, I didn't feel it coming. And if you ask me if I've been affected, yes, I've been affected. But has it stopped me from living my day-to-day life? No, it hasn't. I've simply moved on and hoped for the best.
Mr. Kananura said though he never prepared for COVID-19 situation in particular, but he however started saving for the future and also investing in different business ventures, which has helped him to overcome the situation. He advised people to divide the investment into other sectors, which will help them overcome such challenges.
He's never giving up. No matter how many times you fall, get up and try again. I've been down more times than I care to remember. People will never hear or never know how many times you've been down, but people will always remember how great or how big you've become. So don't worry about how many times you've made mistakes, how many times you've fallen. Worry about how many times you get up. Don't stop going, these young men. Don't stop going. Keep pressing hard. Every time you knock on that door, eventually it will open. Just keep knocking on that door. There's no formula to life. And you should not expect any ceremonies. The world doesn't owe you anything. Don't wait for government. If you want for government to do things for you, you're in for a big surprise. Government has nothing and owes you nothing. Just get up and work hard And just truthfully, it's not working hard that gets you there. You need a bit of luck. If you're a Christian, pray. If you're a Muslim, do the same. The most important thing is to have a dream and work towards the dream. Just tunnel vision. I'm going that way, nothing should stop me. One thing you'll ever do in life is every time a dog barks and you stop to throw a stone at it, when will you ever get to where you're going? Pay attention. Ignore the barking dogs. Work in silence. And let the success make the noise.
Desh also cautions youths to stop losing hope while chasing up their dreams.
Moving on, Parliament has asked government to consider issuing a travel advisory to Ugandans intending to travel to South Sudan following the killing of 9 Ugandan drivers. Let's have more. According to lawmakers, this would guarantee the safety of Ugandans considering to travel to South Sudan so that they can make informed decisions about their journeys. Speaker Kadaga was responding to the Minister of State for Internal Affairs, Mr. Mario Obiga Kania's submission on the killings to the members. Mr. Obiga said the matter was being investigated by the Foreign Affairs Ministry and they would issue a communication after reconciling with their embassy in South Sudan. Ms. Kadaga also tasked the Finance Minister to explain the killings allegedly being committed by Uganda Revenue Authority enforcement officers at the Congo border. The Ugandan drivers now have to drive for about 52 hours for a distance of 3,613 kilometers from Elegu to Juba, while the distance between Oraba to Juba is 230 kilometers by road. Those confirmed dead include Stephen Amati, Dada Abugo, Ali Soni, and Saddam Nuwa. The security team from Uganda and South Sudan are yet to identify the bodies of victims in Monday attacks. Before the outbreak of the civil war in South Sudan, more than 100 trucks and buses from Uganda could drive through the border of Oraba via Kaya to Juba in South Sudan, but the route has been abandoned with a shift to Elegu to Nimule Juba Highway. On Tuesday, a Ugandan delegation led by the mayor of Koboko, Mr. Wilson Sanya, traveled to Nimule to receive the bodies of the Ugandan drivers. Away from that, a panel of 5 Supreme Court justices will tomorrow hear an application in which government is seeking to stay of implementations of recent orders of the Constitutional Court that a serving judge should retire before appointed to a new job in the executive arm of government. Our reporter Kachanchu has more.
The panel will be led by Chief Justice Alfonso Winyidoro. Other justices include Stella Aracha Amoko, Ruby Aweri Opio, Paul Mugamba, and Ezekiel Muhanguzi. About a fortnight ago, a panel of 5 justices of the Constitutional Court led by Kenneth Kakuru, ruled that it is illegal for a serving judge to be appointed to any executive job or constitutional office prior to their resignation. Constitutional Court judgment was a result of a petition filed by lawyer Robert Adridge Kasango, aka Bob, now deceased, who had challenged his prosecution on the pension scam by then Director of Public Prosecution Mike Chibita, who had been appointed the chief prosecutor while he was a judge. Kasango reasoned that the appointment of then High Court Judge Chibita to the position of Chief Government Prosecutor had caused a fusion of the executive and the judiciary functions, hence undermining the independence of the judiciary and separation of powers that the Constitution requires. He also urged that the unconstitutional appointment of Justice Chibita and his subsequent prosecution by him was unlawful and void. Justice Kakuru, who wrote the lead judgment, agreed with Kasango and held that it was illegal for a judge to accept a job in the executive arm without first resigning from the judiciary. Lawyer Robert Kasango succumbed to heart complications on February 27 at Luzira prison, where he was serving a 16-year jail sentence. He was buried on Sunday in Gweri village in Fort Potro City. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Moving on, government has unveiled a list of the most degraded wetlands in the country and warned that if no serious action is taken, all wetlands will be depleted by 2046. Our reporter Nalugo has more.
The list is contained in the 2018-2019 National Environment Management Authority NEMA report titled The National State of Environment. The report indicates that the most degraded wetlands in the country include Lake Kyoga, where 42% of its coverage has been devastated, Lake Edward 34%, Lake Victoria 29%, and Lake Albert 28%. NEMA report shows the high degradation in the Kyoga Basin is attributed to the ever-increasing conversion of intact wetlands for subsistence cultivation of mainly rice, sugarcane, and maize. The Edward Basin wetlands have also been converted to farmlands. The report also states that the major threat to wetlands in the Lake Victoria Basin is the ever-increasing demand for land for urbanization. Other degraded wetlands include Lake Victoria Nile 27%, Albert Nile 20%, Aswa 1%, and Kidepo 1%. There has been a sharp decline in wetland coverage from 15% in 1994 to 13% in 2017, and of the remaining wetlands, 4.1% is degraded according to the report. The report is based on field visits to places experiencing noticeable environmental changes and assessing relevant reports from different sectors and universities according to NEMA. Dr. Tom Okrut, the executive director of NEMA, said there was a slight improvement in the state of natural environment from 54% in 2020 to 56% this year.
Let's take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Tanzanian Parliament yesterday, March 30th, approved the Finance Minister, Dr. Philip Mpango, as the new Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Let's take a look.
Dr. Philip Mpango was approved by all the 363 members of parliament who gave a nod. This was shortly after Mpango's name was presented to the Speaker of Parliament, Job Ndugai, by the President's ADC earlier in the day. Following his confirmation, the Speaker declared Buhigwe constituency in Kigoma vacant because he now ceases to be a member of Parliament as spelled out in the Constitution. Dr. Mpango now fills the Vice President position, which was left vacant after Ms. Samia Suluhu Hassan was sworn in as President following the death of John Pombe Joseph Magufuli. Dr. Philip Mpango until yesterday was Minister for Finance and Planning of the United Republic of Tanzania and has been in office since November 2015. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Away from that, the International Criminal Court has upheld the convictions and 30-year prison sentence of a Congolese warlord, Bosco Ntaganda, who was found guilty of crimes including murder, rape, and sexual slavery. Let's have more.
The former commander, who was named the Terminator because of his brutality, was found guilty on 18 counts, including murder, rape, and using child soldiers, and was the first person to be convicted by the court for sexual slavery. The charges related to crimes carried out in the mineral-rich Ituri region of the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2002 and 2003. Ntaganda was the first person to be convicted of sexual slavery by the ICC and overall the fourth person the court has convicted since its creation in 2002. The Rwanda-born 46-year-old former rebel was involved in numerous armed conflicts in both Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. He surrendered at the U.S. Embassy in Rwanda in 2013.
Moving on, a close associate of Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara, Amadou Somahoro, has been reappointed as head of the National Assembly following the 6th March legislative elections won by the ruling party. We have more. The candidate, Amadou Somahoro, having obtained the absolute majority of votes cast at the end of the vote, was declared elected president of the National Assembly on Tuesday by MP Mamadou Diawara, the oldest member of parliament, who chaired the ceremony. Mr. Somahoro, 67, a former minister and founding member of President Ouattara's party, received 158 votes out of 247 voters, compared to 85 votes for opposition candidate Eliane Nzi. The required majority was 128 votes. The ruling party, the Rally of Hofortists for Democracy and Peace, won an absolute majority in the National Assembly with 137 seats out of 254 against 91 for the opposition parties. 16 deputies elected as independents joined the RHDP group, according to the party. Moving on, the International Criminal Court has handed over symbolic euro to the government of Mali and UNESCO for damage inflicted on the people of Mali and the international community by the destruction of cultural properties in the Timbuktu in 2012. Let's take a look. The ruling on the award had been handed down in 2016 following a landmark trial before the International Criminal Court, which for the first time charged an individual with war crimes against historic and cultural monuments. Fatou Bensouda, the ICC's chief prosecutor, said the case represented the international community's commitment to defend the foundation of our common identity. She added that Mali's cultural heritage is a mirror of humanity and such attacks would not go unpunished. The Hague-based ICC in 2016 sentenced Ahmad Al-Faqih Al-Mahdi, a member of Asa Eden, a terror group, to 9 years in prison for leading jihadists who destroyed 9 Muslims in early 2012. Dubbed the city of 333 saints, Timbuktu's shrines were built in the 15th and 16th centuries, where the city was revered as a center of Islamic learning and a spiritual hub. Moving on still, after white headmaster in St. Martin de Porres School was reported to have asked a black student to kneel and apologize in the African way last month, the school gave him a temporary leave. Let's have more. The leadership of St. Martin de Porres Marianist School issued out a statement stating that the white headmaster had resigned and that a certified school administrator would immediately replace him as it continues to review the incident in question to ensure that it is never repeated again in any form. The statement added that it was important to assure students, parents, and faculty that such an incident does not reflect their long-established value of respect for the individual or the established protocols regarding student-related issues. Trisha Paul said that one day last month, after her son returned from school, she noted that he was not as jovial, adding that it wasn't until the 11-year-old's mother questioned the sadness that the son narrated what had happened to him in school that day. Her son narrated that his teacher had found him doing his literature assignment during what was supposed to be reading time. The teacher sent him to the headmaster's office, tearing down the assignment, and upon arrival at the office, the headmaster ordered him to kneel and apologize. Let's once again take a very quick short break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our business news today, there has been some relief as shipping is on the move again in Egypt's Suez Canal after a giant container ship that blocked the waterway was refloated on Monday. Let's take a look. For almost a week, the 400-meter-long Ever Given vessel blocked hundreds of boats and was holding up over $9 billion worth of cargo each day, with consequences to trade felt all over the world. The Suez Canal Authority Chief Osama Rabi told reporters yesterday evening that easing tailbacks to the north and south, 113 ships navigated the narrow passage by 600 GMT yesterday. The Pentagon spokesman Jolie Kirby said that opening the Suez Canal and making it available to traffic again will certainly facilitate greater movement, not just for military assets, but also for civilian merchant traffic. On Tuesday, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi visited the Suez Canal Authority Maritime Training and Simulation Center. In our health news today, the Ministry of Health has said that Kenya is facing an acute shortage of oxygen in hospitals across the country and 20,000 oxygen cylinders are being hoarded. Let's have more.
The Ministry of Health said that the shortage was caused by a rising number of COVID-19 cases as the country experiences a deadly third wave, with some Kenyans and private institutions stocking up on the commodity. On Monday, Health Minister Mutahi Kagwe said Kenyans were holding some 20,000 oxygen cylinders in private facilities, homes and institutions. The market demand for oxygen has more than doubled to current demand of 880 tons from 410 tons before the arrival of the pandemic, according to the health minister. Kenya has confirmed more than 13,000 cases of coronavirus infections and over 2,000 death cases. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Kampala International University Titans have lined up 2 pre-season friendly games with champions City Oilers and league newcomer NAM Blazers in preparation for the new National Basketball League season. Our reporter Katende has more.
The 2 games are part of the team's preparation for the forthcoming National Basketball League season that tips off on April 17, 2021. Brian Watham, the head of coach of Titans, is expected to give new players a run in a competitive setting, driving the games that will be played over the Easter holiday. The game against NAM Blazers, who too will be testing their new guns, will be played on Good Friday, April 2nd, while the team will take on the Oilers on Monday. Both games will tip off at 4 p.m. The games will stream live on Fuba TV as the dry run for the season. Katede Chabasinga reporting.
Now, before we end our news bulletin today, let's take a recap of our top stories. City businessman Andrew Kananura, also known as Daesh, advises people to invest in different business ventures. Government names 7 most degraded wetlands. Parliament demands travel advisory over South Sudan killings. Parliament approves Dr. Philip Mpango as Tanzania's new vice president. And in sports, KIU Titans line up pre-season friendlies with City Oilers, NAM Blazers ahead of National Basketball League. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.